Very good evening and welcome. You're watching the India Development Debate with me, Tamanna Inamdar. Today we're talking about the government's crackdown on the booming market of social media influencers. In addition to earlier guidelines asking influencers to publish clear disclosures about brand associations and fines of as high as 50 lakh rupees, the Department of Consumer Affairs has now come out with a set of additional guidelines for social media influencers and celebrities promoting any health-related products or services. Now, under the new guidelines, certified medical practitioners and health and fitness experts who hold certifications from many recognized institutions are now required to disclose their credentials when sharing any information online and promoting any products or services. Celebrities must ensure the audience understands their endorsement are not a substitute for professional medical advice. Not only that, looking at the widening influence of celebrities, the ASCI, that's the Advertising Standards Council of India, has also updated the definition of celebrities in its code to include social media influencers who have a following of 500,000 or more on any single social media handle. But while the government continues to impose sanctions, how trustworthy are these influencers? And with so many curbs and sanctions, how far will they go? My colleague Samir Dikshit has this report.
In a bid to curb the misinformation and also to ensure responsibility, the centre has released the additional guidelines for celebrities, for social media influencers or the influencers, those who endorse the health and wellness product. So the guidelines clearly mentions that the health and wellness celebrities and also the influencers and virtual influencers, they have to display, they have to show their authentication and also the certificate that on what basis they are endorsing any health or wellness brand. The guidelines specifically mentions that the certified medical practitioners and health and fitness experts, they will be endorsing, but they will also be disclosing that they are certified health or wellness expert. A proper authentication has to be displayed so that the consumers cannot be misguided. Not just this, the health and fitness expert and the medical practitioners, they have to display, they have to mention this part that they are certified and then they are eligible to endorse any health or wellness brand. Now, these all steps have been taken after a detailed discussion with the stakeholders. The Consumer Affairs Ministry has mentioned that a detailed stakeholder consultation took place and also other entities were taken on board, like the Advertising Standards Council of India, like the FSSAI, the food regulator, and not just this, those who are endorsing the brand, their voices were also being heard and discussion was taken at large. So these all steps have been taken because recently there has been a surge in the number of complaints that anyone, those who are possessing as a medical practitioner or a celebrity and were endorsing a health or wellness brand, and that was not giving a proper information to the consumers. So seeking those sort of complaint, now these additional guidelines have been released, and it has also been mentioned that any sort of violation will attract a severe punishment under the Consumer Protection Act.
To speak more on this, I am joined now by Hetal Cheda. She's a wellness and fitness consultant, and Dilip Cherian, image guru. Dilip, let me get your point of view first. This sort of seems like an effort to curb a very big boom with a set of guidelines. Can they even do that? Because there is no clarity on what people are consuming, where they're getting their advice from, and there are more than enough people out there dishing advice.
Tamanna, I'm going to sound a little contradictory, but I think this is probably the not as critical element in controlling and guiding consumers from being misled. Actually, the real problem is in the fact that government, which knows better, is allowing the production, manufacture, and sale of a whole range of products, ranging from products which are designed for kids with very high levels of sugar to those ranging with excessively high levels of salt, all kinds of add-ons, etc. So if indeed the objective is to be concerned about what goes into the consumption basket of those who are vulnerable because of lack of knowledge, this is simply not enough. As far as curbing influencers is concerned, this sounds lovely and righteous and gives you a danda, as it were, to target who you want. And I think that that may be a good thing in itself, but is that the objective? And most importantly, can this actually be curbed? Because the kind of influencers, in fact, today, as somebody who manages influencers, brands, consumer reaction, I can tell you the day of the big branded influencers is on the wane. And what we are really now talking about is much smaller neighborhood influencers who really have some more impact on micro consumption patterns which matter to companies.
Question really, Dilip, is that who are these influencers? Why are they doing it? How credible are they? When they're telling you to use a certain, say, supplement, have anyone certified that supplement? Are they, fit to give you that advice? Should you be taking that advice looking at a video which might not be relevant to you? And really, how do you go ahead and curb that? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Tamanna, the answer to your question is these are not people you should follow if you have even an iota of intelligence. Do people follow their advice? Sometimes they do. But let me tell you that both research as well as anecdotal evidence suggests that there isn't enough to see that proves that using this is going to change consumption patterns. What it does do, though, however, and which is the reason why companies, and as I told you, advising a whole bunch of them, I know what the motivations are. The idea is to keep the brand in front of your face, hoping that that works along with the rest of the advertising, which is going on anyway. So influencers are a way of making sure that your branding stays within the consumer's thought process, in the thought bubble, as it were. And that's the reason, because the number of consumers or the percentage of consumers who listen to influencers to advise what they should do about a mini health problem or a maxi nutrition hope are very few. So they don't actually change consumer behavior. And the other reason is that many of these people, to answer your question of who are these people, most of them are severely underqualified, don't know enough, and all they've spent is enough time in the gym or with the dietitian to look as if they're being well advised.
Okay, let me come to Hetal Cheda, on her view now. Hetal, you have a sizable following, and you are, of course, a fitness advisor. How do you see these new guidelines?
So see, I'm very happy about the new guidelines. It becomes very, very important for them, like the influencers, to at least make a note wherever they are putting up a video or it's an endorsement or whatever it is. It's so important for them to clarify and tell the following that this is an paid advertisement. All right. So now one of the very most important things that I would like to say is that influencers do play a huge role. All right. When it comes to selling a product, when it comes to marketing, whatever, like people who have huge followings, and your followers are going to listen to you. All right. That's why they are here on your page. So whenever, if you are not into a fitness industry or if you're not into skincare, I would highly, this is not appreciable wherein, you are endorsing a product which is not of your niche. It is very unfair on your part and also unfair on your following. So if you are a fitness influencer or if you hold a certificate in that particular area, then I would say that you are a person who's liable to even give instructions or suggestions to people. Otherwise, it's not helping. It's not helping at all. But if you are making a note wherein you are saying that this is an endorsed product, you use it at your own risk, then probably, people have their brains to use. And it plays two roles over here. From consumers' point of view, it's beneficial for the consumer. Mm-hmm. And for an influencer also, it keeps you protected and compliant.
It seems to be a catch-22. And Dilip, let me come back to you on that. The moment influencers say that they are talking up a product because they were paid to do so, that's why it's a paid promotion, does interest wane? Is that why a lot of times you see a very subtle and I would say underhand, sleight of hand kind of promotion of products where it's not very clear if they're doing this because they genuinely find it good or because someone's paying them to do it.
As someone who's sat on the ASCII committee over several terms, let me tell you that the kind of consumer who's willing to hear a Bollywood star and consume or purchase cement or a house based on their endorsement must be minuscule. Sure, these people get paid and the companies must be making a smart decision, because very often there are companies or individuals like me who are advising them. But as I'm repeating again, I take what Hetal has said. It is important that these influencers make it obvious that they are being paid to endorse something. To answer your question, it does bring down the value of the endorsement, and therefore it makes it even less impactful. But the point I'm making is that, even if you are highly qualified, what makes it certain that you can prescribe virtually to a large audience except some generic stuff, telling somebody to walk 5,000 steps a day? Other than that, what is it that you will tell a person which is general and can be on social media and is impactful, is meaningful, and is correct and precise as far as a particular user is concerned? The answer is pretty much very little.
Yeah, there are in fact handles and handles who are giving out very specific advice, saying this is part of Ayurveda or this is part of some other kind of a science. Then there are those who are busting those myths. You have a whole set of influencers who are calling out products that you find on their shelves. There is such a surfeit of information there. From the other point of view, Hetal, I want to understand that when you are putting out content for your audience, what are you looking at? Because clearly at the end of the day, your aim is to have more and more people click on, or the maximum amount of engagement. So how will you ensure that you're putting out content or you're putting out advice which would be useful to everyone and not end up harming someone?
Exactly. So basically, when it comes to health, it is not like that one size fits all, right? So when someone puts up a content like what I eat in a day, so that is generic and particularly to that particular person. Now, if suppose Katrina Kaif drinks like a smoothie, kale smoothie or a kiwi smoothie, so I have seen thousands of people following her and making that and putting a post like that. If Kareena Kapoor eats rajma salad in the evening, I know a lot of people who are doing that, right? But health is, you cannot follow or fit into someone's shoes. So now coming back to your question, what I put up on my page, and basically my main aim is to just bring in awareness. Now, again, I have had issues wherein when I put in some information, even when I hold a degree and a postgraduate degree in foods and nutrition, there are people questioning me that why are you saying so? Even when I hold that degree, I have questions like that. So people are very intelligent, I would say. They have the right to question rather than blindly follow someone. And when I put up some content, see, it differs from person to person. Everyone has a different objective. When I'm putting something, it is mainly to educate people. It is mainly to, bust a particular myth in the industry. Or is it mainly to show a recipe that, I actually give it to my real clients? So that is my main motto when I put up something. It's not engagement or it's not for following or anything of that sort. And obviously that goal will be different for different influencers.
It's a tricky terrain. And even the kind of widening of definition of celebrity. I found that interesting as well, because now they have to face the same kind of responsibility, including penal action if they fall afoul of the laws. Do you think that makes sense, Dilip Cherian? And also endorses what you were saying, that the typical Bollywood celebrity is no more the only person who can influence people's decision. There are micro-influencers out there.
Amana, you're absolutely right. Micro-influencers are the way of the future. But, I think that it's unnecessary paperwork. It's, again, to my mind, infringement on the right to do your business, whatever your business may be. For example, if you're taking a decision about buying a pair of shoes or about choosing your eye makeup, for example, I don't think that you need to crack down on influencers who are working in those spaces. You need to confine the kind of spaces where influencers need to be careful, pay attention to what consumers are being told, display their degrees, and indicate what they're doing. The large mass of people who are following influencers are taking decisions on buying a book, watching a movie, buying a new frock. That's the kind of stuff, and it doesn't really matter. And you want to go after them because sometimes the policing becomes the problem rather than the solution.
Yep. We don't know if that policing will become a problem or it will, at the end of the day, help protect the consumer, because that is the real concern. Hetal Cheda, do you think that that anyone with 5 lakh followers should be considered a celebrity?
So even when you talk about nano influencers, micro influencers, mega influencers, even with people 20,000 following also are considered a celebrity these days, right? So people who are following them for a reason. So 20,000 will probably influence 5 or 10 or 20 or 100, and a 5 lakh or more than that will influence more people. But the main thing is that these days people do not want to open a book or research on a particular thing. It's very easy to just take out your phone and keep watching videos one after the other. Like out of 8 hours, people spend 4 to 5 hours on their phone. And that is the future. And that is the videos, the short videos. These are the things that influence people in some or the other way, be it a funny video or a video wherein a genuine product is being marketed, or even for big industries, they are going for these kind of marketing rather than choosing some alternative kind of marketing. And people fall prey to market, like the way products are marketed. When the other guy who's here with us, he mentioned that be it buying of a biscuit or a chocolate or a whatever, it's the influence that makes people fall prey to buying of these products. So definitely, all of people 20,000 or a 5,000 K following doesn't matter. They have a following at the end of the day, and some or the other, a small chunk of people or a large chunk of people, they are going to follow them, and that is following them.
I think what's interesting is that no responsibility is placed on the followers. If you are going to take advice from a few seconds of a clip that you have seen for your own health, at some point you'll have to stop and think whether it's a good idea or not. Having said that, thank you so much to both of you for joining us on the discussion this evening. We'll take a very short break, but a lot more coming up on the other side.